Yesterday, I noticed this simple online users counter on Daniel's website, and it said, I want to do the same. So here it is. That's pretty much the same. Now, the number shows 43, but I maybe kind of cheated. This is the users that visited the page in the last 30 minutes. But let me show you how I did it. In short, my blog is basically an Astro static site, and it is hosted on Netlify. So I'd say, okay, I know that Netlify has some serverless function you can deploy, and I never did one, so let's give it a try. I kind of vibe coded it, and well, I asked Copilot to create a function to track visitors on my website. I told it that this was actually an Astro project on Netlify, and I also wanted to store my data on Redis because why not? And in short, that's pretty much what it came out. So it created a Redis client here, and it takes the IP from the headers, does some silly anonymization, and here's the trick. It stores the key with 30 minutes time to leave, so that's how it does all the counting, and simply returns so that the badge can actually show the number. And if you're curious about the badge, again, another silly prompt to Copilot, actually two different prompts. First, I asked it to just read the data from the API. So this is the API that it's targeting. Actually, I didn't know that you can create a redirect. So instead of calling this, it goes there. I'm fine with it. So it calls the API and simply sets the visitors count here so that it can be displayed on the badge. Now, if you notice, I also added local storage, and the reason is quite simple. Here, since it's a static site, every time I change and I go on a new page, I had to wait each time that the call getting the fresh data was performed. So I had kind of a flickering here with the number either be 0 or the empty badge, and I didn't want that. The easiest solution I came up with was, well, just write it in local storage. So while the call is being performed, just show the old data you had on local storage, and then when you get the actual data, show the right data. And also, while it is null, at least show one. The current user is visiting the page, so at least one. And if you're curious about where did I host this, well, I probably went the easiest way. So I just went to AppStash, I created an account for free, and this is basically my Redis hosting. As you can see now, there's 45 keys currently in my Redis instance. I don't even need to get rid of them. They have the time to live. That's what was set here. It is 30 minutes. So with that, there's nothing I have to do. Here, time to live 11 minutes, 26, 25. So there's nothing else I really had to do. I've got my Redis instance, and the number here, it displays automatically. Now it shows 45, but every 30 seconds I actually refresh it, so it should show different numbers if someone else comes visiting my page or just goes away, and here the record is expired. But in case you're wondering how do I debug this locally, well, you can just do Netlify dev, and that's pretty much all you need to run the local instance here on Netlify. And this is creating my server here under port 888. And you probably noticed that here it was displaying 11 for a moment because it is probably what I had on my local storage. And now it displays 48 as the Redis instance is still the hosted one. But now the Netlify function that is being executed is exactly this one running here locally. For example, here I can add a console log, hello. And with that, it reloaded the Netlify function. So if I go back to the page and I refresh it and I go back to my console, you can see the console log. As simple as that. I just vibe coded a really silly implementation of an online counter, and yeah, that was fun. I wanted to share it with you all. I'm sure there's a lot of better solution. This was really just for fun. And that was basically it for today. Thanks for watching, and see you soon.